Okay, so since wala na tayong time para ma-discuss pa yung last lesson natin, um, gagawa na lang ako or gumagawa na lang ako ng video para ma-discuss na siya and hindi tayo mahuli. Kasi if ever may pasok man on Friday, it's either defense nyo siya or catch up, and then Monday wala na namang pasok. Tuesday, hindi rin makaka-discuss. Wednesday is vacant natin, and then supposed to be Thursday will be your long quiz. So, hindi na tayo makakapag-discuss. That's why I'm making this video para maihabol pa natin yung mga lessons na kailangan pa nating ma-discuss. So, our lesson for today is how to write formal definitions. When we say formal definitions kasi, it is the way kung saan nagde-define tayo or we are writing definitions using formal writing styles. Since research ang ginagawa natin and academic paper siya, considered as a formal type of writing, kailangan the way we construct our sentences should be in a formal way. That's why we are going to learn how to write formal definitions. Now, in writing formal definitions, meron siyang iba't ibang parts. So, the first one is what we call the species. Okay? When we say species, it is the term being defined. Ito yung word na dinedefine natin sa isang sentence. Like, for example, this one. Alliteration is a literary device that repeats the beginning letter sound in quick succession. So, ano ba yung word na dinedefine natin dito? Okay, ang word na dinedefine natin dito is alliteration. Okay, siya yung ating species. Okay, always remember, ang ating species is yung term or word that is being defined in a sentence. Now, after the species, it is followed by a verb. Okay. In this sentence, sa tingin nyo, ano kaya yung verb natin? Okay, ang verb natin is. Maybe some of you were asking or nagtataka kung bakit is yung verb natin. Ang alam nating verb is action word like walk, talk, eat, ganyan, di ba? Ang is considered as a verb because ito ay linking verb, okay? Ano-ano ba yung mga linking verb? Ito yung mga is, are, was, were. So, those verbs are used to link information together, okay? So, si alliteration, kinonect ni is doon sa remaining information, okay? So, ang verb natin is, okay? Always remember, ang linking verbs natin ay sila is, are, was, and were. Now, after the verb, it is followed by what we call genus. Pag sinabi nating genus, ito yung klase, category, or grupo kung saan belong yung term na dinedefine natin. Balik tayo sa una nating example. Alliteration is a literary device that repeats the beginning letter sound in quick succession. Ano ba yung term na dinedefine natin? Again, it is alliteration. Ngayon, anong klaseng word ba si alliteration? Okay? Si alliteration ay isang literary device. So, yan ang ating genus, okay? Kung anong klase, anong kategory, or anong grupo ba belong yung word or term na dinedefine natin. After ng genus, next is we have differentia, okay? Sa differentia naman, it provides the characteristics, quality, types, and distinction from any other words. So, si differentia, ito yung description kung ano ba yung distinction ng word na to from other types na belong dun sa klase or category kung saan siya belong. For example, si alliteration. Sinabi natin si alliteration siya ang ating species. Si is ang ating verb. And then ang ating genus or yung category kung saan belong si alliteration is si literary device. Ngayon, anong klaseng literary device ba si alliteration? Okay? Anong pagkakaiba ni alliteration sa ibang literary device? So, ang ating diferensya is, it repeats the beginning letter sound in quick succession. Okay? Yung description kung ano bang pinagkaiba ni alliteration sa ibang klaseng literary device. Okay? So, that is what we call diferensya. Another example. Okay. Ano kaya ang ating species dito? Ang ating species dito ay si personification. Okay? Kasi siya yung term na dinedefine natin. And then si verb is si is. Okay? Again, kasi siya ay isang linking verb. Ngayon, saang or anong grupo ng salita ba si personification? Saan ba siya belong? Anong category? Okay, si personification ng isang figure of speech. So, ito ang kanyang genus. Ngayon, anong pagkakaiba ni personification sa other figure of speech? So, si personification, ina-attach siya sa human traits and characteristics to an inanimate objects. Okay? So, ito yung ating diferensya. Okay? So, always remember, si species, siya yung term or word na dinadefine. And then, after that is the verb or what we call the linking verbs. And then, genus, the class or category where the term belongs to. And then, diferensya, ito yung quality or characteristics na nagdi-differentiate sa term from other class or category na belong din dito. So, there are different guidelines in writing formal definitions. First is, be specific about the class. Like this one, a modem is a thing that. Yung word na thing, masyado siyang shallow. So, hindi siya specific. So, there's a tendency na ma-misunderstood ng readers kung ano ba yung ibig mong sabihin na thing. Kasi ang daming iba't ibang klase na bagay sa mundo. So, hindi nila maiintindihan kung anong klaseng thing ba. Okay, so we need to be specific. How about this one? A modem is a device that. Medyo specific na siya, pero meron pang mas specific dito. Okay? Kasi pwede pa rin siyang maging cause ng confusion. Anong klaseng device? Literary device? Okay? So, pwede siyang mag-cause ng confusion. So, kung meron pa siyang mas i-specific, mas okay yon. Like, for example dito, a modem is an electronic device. Now, sobrang specific niya na, okay? Hindi na to magkakos ng confusion because may intindihan na ng readers na ang modem is a type of a literary device. Hindi katulad sa first two sentence na masyado siyang shallow, specific, or masyado siyang general. Lalo na itong una, is a thing. Ang daming klase ng bagay sa mundo. Yung pangalawa naman, a device. Anong klaseng device? So, itong third, mas specific na siya. So, in writing formal definitions, dapat always make sure na specific yung class or genus na dinedefine ninyo. Then, next one is, use the same part of speech for the class as the word is being defined. For example, this one, face mask. Face mask is a noun. And then, yung sumunod is used over. Naging verb na siya. So, hindi na siya consistent. So, if ang term mo is noun, dapat ang class niya or ang genus niya is noun din. Like, for this one. Okay, face mask is a noun. And then, yung class or category ni face mask is also a noun. Okay, is a protective covering. So, consistent na siya. Okay, so always use the same part of speech kapag nagde-define kayo ng definition ninyo. The next one is, whenever possible, don't repeat the term in the class or distinguishing characteristics. Face mask is a protective noun. Face mask, and then mask na naman doon. So, hindi pwede yun kasi nagiging repetitive na siya. So, instead of using that, use other terms na hindi na mare-repeat yung word sa species ninyo. Okay? Face mask is a protective covering. Mas maganda na siyang pakinggan. Compared to this, na parang dinescribe mo lang siya using the term na dinedefine mo. So, kapag susulat na kayo ng definition, ang class nyo dapat is hindi dapat niya mauulit yung term na dinedefine ninyo. And then next is, make sure there is sufficient information in the adjective clause to distinguish the term from other members of the class. If you're going to look at the first sentence, a modem is a device that is used with a computer and a telephone. Kulang yung information niya. Kulang yung information na ginamit para i-describe kung ano ba si modem. Compared to the second sentence, a modem is a device that makes possible the transmission of data to or from a computer via telephone. Okay? So, mas specific na siya, mas informative na siya. Compared to the first one, hindi niya naibigay kung ano ba yung function ni modem kay computer at telephone. In the second sentence, mas na-elaborate niya pa kung ano ba talaga si modem by giving its specific and concise description. Okay? So, in the second sentence, na explain niyang mabuti kung ano ba yung function ni modem sa computer and telephone. Okay? So, nasabi niya dito, si modem daw ay ginagamit to transmit data from computer through telephone. And then next one is, avoid long words and long sentences in technical writing. If necessary, break the formal definition into 2 sentences rather than producing a very long sentence. So, in writing definitions, mas okay or mas prefer natin na short and concise yung definition natin compared to long and wordy definitions, kasi kapag nakita na ng readers nyo na sobrang haba ng definition nyo, tatama rin na silang basahin. So, mas maganda na mas maiksi, mas specific, direct to the point, mas eye-catching siyang basahin, and mas maiengganyo yung readers na basahin yung definition ninyo. So, those are the guidelines and the different parts of formal definition. If you have questions, i-message nyo ako kung may mga parts dito na hindi nyo masyado naintindihan. Pwede nyo akong i-message. And then, of course, meron tayong activity. So, in this activity, you are going to give the formal definition of each word by completing the information needed in the table below. So, I want you to write this in one whole sheet of paper and then pass it to me until 12 p.m. Okay, 12 ng tanghali. Mag-send kayo ng picture nyo habang gumagawa, and at the same time, yung natapos ninyong activity. Okay, yung picture mismo ng activity ninyo. So, yun lang. Kung may mga parts na hindi masyadong naintindihan and kailangan ng clarifications, i-message nyo lang ako and para ma-explain pa natin lalo. So, yun lang. Again, ang deadline ng activity ninyo is until 12 ng tanghali. Magsisend kayo ng picture nyo habang gumagawa ng activity, and at the same time, yung picture ng activity na natapos ninyo.